Hey, this is Dave from metalepidemic.com. Thank you for checking out our YouTube video. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button below if you like this type of content, and we hope you enjoy the review. What's up, guys? Dave here from Metal Epidemic, joined by Duncan and by Kyle for a brand new album review. And for this album, we have been checking out the new release from Irish quartet Baylor. The band's new album, Disposable Youth, will be released on November 12th via Blood Blast. So, Baylor, they are a Cork-based metallic hardcore / metalcore outfit.
From Cork, not actually made of the material Cork. Specify there. When he said Cork-based, I was like, that's impressive. So, the from Cork.
Some flimsy guitars now.
Yeah.
The band features former members of Emigra and the Great Ocean Divide. This is a debut album from Baylor, which follows on from their 2018 self-released EP. They also had a 2017 EP called PTSD and a 2016 EP called Shaped by the Landscape. This album was recorded, mixed, mastered and produced by Mr. Lewis Johns at the Ranch Production House, who we talk about a lot on these reviews.
Seems to appear quite a bit.
He is a popular guy. Baylor...
He's either really good or really cheap.
Well,
and we don't need the answer to that in this review.
Baylor have a strong reputation on their home ground, playing shows alongside Norma Jean, Sick of It All, The Black Dahlia Murder, Conjurer, Employed to Serve, Palm Reader, Malevolence, Godmother, Coil Guns and more. 2018 and 2019 saw the band start to mark their territory further afield, having successfully toured Russia and the UK extensively in support of their self-titled EP. With new music at the ready, Baylor are back and eager to get back on international stages to launch the next era of the band, starting with Bloodstock Festival back in August. For Disposable Youth, Baylor consciously decided to write every single song in a jam room together, fleshing all out and creating what felt right in real life. And I think that comes across on this album. Like, it very much feels like an album that's been crafted in a rehearsal room. It doesn't feel like a bedroom project, where like members have contributed ideas online, which obviously there is a lot of going on, because of COVID. But this definitely feels more kind of organically put together. Stylistically, when this kicked in, I just got kind of instant Stray from the Path vibes, straight away. That's what I was thinking. It's almost like an instant comparison when Blackout kicked in. But as the album goes on, you can start to hear other things kind of coming in. A definite likeness to Every Time I Die. A little bit of Cancer Bats in there. And there's a little, kind of more kind of mathy kind of type element as well.
Especially towards the end. Towards the end of the album, they start really experimenting with that. And I think it's a good choice to put that towards the end of the album, because they had a certain stride by the midway point that to extend that right through might get a bit lethargic. So that started making it more interesting. But also to me just showed that they have another level, just like a clear other level that they comfortably can shift into. And it doesn't sound like they're dabbling, you know what I mean? It just sounded like, these guys could do this if they wanted to. So.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. And it's like, it's fairly like a kind of quite a scrappy sounding album from the off. Like there's no like gentle introductions to this one. It's a like strap yourself in type album. That kind of like toes the line between kind of extremely vicious kind of metallic hardcore and a punchy kind of metalcore. But hats off to Lewis Johns. I know we've said it like on a number of times, but once again, I think he's done a grand job on this one from Baylor. It hits hard, like just from the get-go. That it's got a bit of grit to it, but it's also really well balanced enough that you can hear the little kind of subtle melodies in the riffs as well. Talk about hard hitting. Just want to talk about track 3 for a second. Out of the Frame. This one like hurtles along at like breakneck speeds, like for the majority of the track, with occasional groove thrown in there. Then in the last minute of the track, it goes thick, like triple C. Triple C thick. Yeah.
Triple C's,
We're going triple C.
You dropping a triple C right on this?
I'm dropping a triple
Jesus
C.
Christ, I wasn't ready for a triple C.
No one was ready. I wasn't even ready. But triple C it is. That kind of groovier riff that plays kind of earlier in the track, it just comes back with a vengeance right at the end, and it is thicker and heavier. And I think that little adjustment to the riff really pays off and giving the track this really cool climax. And then the album just kind of continues on with that kind of like really unbridled energy. It doesn't let up at all. But I think one of the most impressive things about this were the tweaks to the songwriting. As I usually do, I went back and listened to like the self-titled EP from 2018, and it's a good EP, but as good as it is, the songwriting on Disposable Youth is miles better. I think having the room to kind of fully show off their chops and their diversity on a full length definitely helps. And also the way they've structured the album really works. They don't give you like too much of the same thing at any one point. The tempo of the album like constantly changes from, you know, something mid-paced like Blackout, then going into those, it shows off a lot of those kind of like big kind of chugging hardcore riffs, but then into like Bastard Son, which is more erratic. It's littered with like blast beats. There's almost like little kind of Dillinger Escape Plan type guitar work in there as well. And I like that melodic side, you know, where they add a little bit more kind of lead work, or the riffs are a little bit more kind of lead based. Cruel Master has a bit of that kind of Every Time I Die feel, but also at the same time still delivers the heavy moments. So they don't ever sacrifice their core elements when they're trying something different. Gateway Drug was probably one of my highlights from the album. Has a lot of kind of traditional hardcore traits in the tempo and the rhythm of the track, but vocally I felt this was where it really kind of excelled. On the build up to the chorus, there's some really kind of nice layers, you know, of styles, and then the chorus has this almost like tonal kind of vocal style, which is like part melody, part scream. That really stood out on the album. A great ending as well, very kind of like late 90s kind of Zao-esque, which I loved, kind of that kind of metalcore kind of sound. And then towards the end of the album, you've got There Is a Love That Remains, which you hear them again going down a more kind of mathy kind of route, which is, it's maybe not quite as like techie as a band like Dillinger, but it definitely has that like off-kilter feel. Maybe like more in line with like the Chariot or Botch or something like that. But again, the ending to that track is colossally huge. I wasn't sure if Kyle, if you picked up what they were actually doing here, because they do it a few times throughout the album where they go for that really thick kind of tone. And I wasn't sure if it was like, is it more bass or is it a low tuning, or I wasn't sure what they were doing there to get that kind of like impact. I don't know if you had any ideas how they were.
As far as I can tell, I think it's more there's like an effect on the bass, so they put on more distortion or slightly different distortion and pumped it up in the mix. And I think there might be a center guitar as well, because when you produce metal, you have a guitar on the left channel, guitar on the right channel. I think they put one right down the middle as well to make it even thicker. So
that's
it helps. It works.
Triple C.
Yeah, triple C. Triple C with guitar spelt with C.
Guitar, yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Definitely one of those like albums that really gets you pumped up listening to it. There's no like moments where it just kind of simmers and you know goes gently. It's just like hard hitting for the full length of the album, which I really enjoyed. Duncan, what about yourself? What do you think of this?
You got through almost that entire review without paying homage and credit to that incredible vocalist.
Well, I was going to leave that to you because I knew you had something to say about him.
I do. One, like he's got an incredible tone, vicious as fuck. Like vicious. Also, totally placed him in the wrong part of the world. I thought this band was an American band, and then Dave gladly didn't record on this his what I would call incredibly xenophobic Irish impression, which made me kind of uncomfortable, if you know what I'm saying. I'm glad that we managed to edit that out if it did make it in seamlessly. No, like this dude's fucking awesome. Like this is the secret weapon they have here, because regardless what the guitars are doing and what the band are doing and how ferocious they're being and you know how many C's are in the thickness of their sound, three apparently, the vocals are just consistently brutal as fuck. This guy is angry. I don't know what's happened. It's probably because he's made out of cork, according to Dave. But he's not happy about being made out of cork, right? No, I swear to God, the thing that like stood out to me, and I had to more than once double take on this one, is he's for the listeners out there that are curious. Impossibility of Reason by Chimera Era. I had to make a space because it sounds like get under my umbrella, Ella. It's Chimera Era. Right. Right. The Chimera / Era style vocals of Mark Hunter are like spitting distance to the tone that this guy has. It's fucking ferocious, and it's amazing, and it makes everything just sound great, and it never lets up. Like, this guy is consistently angry from start to finish, and I mean, if we ever meet, if you're ever on tour and we get a chance to interview you, I will buy you a beer and we'll have a small therapy session and try and work out what is that fucking pissed you off. I don't want to be me. Like, if you're behind one of these songs, you should be worried. This is just a pure joy to listen to. That, like, from front to back, this is no fucking thrills, you know, just absolutely 100% balls to the wall, aggressive assault on the senses. It does so much right for this genre, specifically kind of more like aggro hardcore / metallic hardcore sort of style in there. But you're right, by the time they start like experimenting with a bit of math rock at the end, it fucking works, man. Like, they're closing out songs with segments that have interesting like kind of times abutting each other and interesting playing, and it fits perfectly, and it flows. It flows so well. This is an album begging to be re-listened to over and over and over again, which I don't always get with hardcore bands. There is that kind of, how angry am I with the world today? Maybe not that angry. Not going to listen to hardcore then. This one's the exact opposite. This kind of almost felt like the punches it was packing energize you to do something. So I found myself listening to it almost as much as the most listened to album we had in our collection, which we'll not talk about that because the review's already out. You will have guessed it by then. This is like, there's very little that you can poke holes in this. Like, it doesn't fall into the trappings of being too samey. There's enough going on here musically and songwriting wise. They mix it up. The tempos are mixed up. At times it can be a bit formulaic, but the tempo switches are what really got me on board with it. It's produced excellently. I mean, this bangs you constantly all the way through it, and it's a great length. It doesn't overstay its welcome at all. It finished and I played it again, like straight away. I was like, yeah, we'll run right through that again. I don't know what more you can want from a band. I think actually their tactic of doing EPs for the first couple of releases, even though I haven't listened to them, I think it's probably a sound strategy, because I think having worked in a format that is shorter to pack as much in, when they've come to do the album, they've adopted the same process, as opposed to doing what a lot of bands do when they come off an EP to make an album, and that's get a bit bloated and a bit baggy. This has, there is no fat at all on this album. It gets right to the point and all the way through it. I thought this was fucking great. So yeah, well done, guys.
Excellent. Kyle, what do you think?
On board with both of you two. Fantastically produced. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell they've got some influences like Dillinger and all that stuff, but they don't copy either. Like, they're definitely their own band. And considering this is what their third or fourth release, they've definitely honed what they want to do, and they know what they want to sound like, and they're pulling it off excellently. And I love the way the band sounds. The guitar tones were just fucking ripping your head off, man. Especially in those thick with 3 C's parts, you know, just that really made me go stank face right in the face, you know. Absolutely all the way through. So I mean, like I said, you can't poke any holes in it. The songs aren't formulaic, they're really well written. The vocalist is just literally sounds like he actually is on fire. He's trying to put it out with his voice.
Sounds like how angry I get when I like order something from a drive-through, and then I drive all the way home with it, and then realize it's not what I ordered.
Yeah,
you're just like,
suddenly you're in.
That's what it's like. It's amazing.
It's great, and I love that it's a relatively short release, but it's still an album. But it just beats you over the head straight from the first moment. You just like, here you go, in, no gentle ends, no nothing, just straight in, bite the pillow, we're in. And
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
Dry as well.
Yeah, just
what we did.
That's it. But at the end, it goes all math rock. It's like, just in the beginning, it's super, and then in the end, it's still just as ferocious, but it's all math rock. Stop laughing at me, Duncan.
It's been a while since I heard the term "bite the pillow." It's just
That's what you gotta do.
Horrible memories involving Dave and no lube. So,
it's a story for another podcast, I'm sure.
Those 3 C's were cock, cock, and cock. So,
just the one ball, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So. I don't know how to segue into this next bit, to be honest.
It's very, very difficult. So what we'll say is Kyle liked it as well.
Yeah.
Kyle liked it, yeah.
Back to Dave.
So ratings for this new album or debut album from Baylor, Disposable Youth. It's a thoroughly enjoyable album. It's not breaking new ground for me. Like I could hear clear influences. There were certain bands that were sticking out. So I wouldn't say it's like the most original thing I've ever heard, but I found it a really satisfying listen. It delivers high energy for was it 35-minute runtime, and it's difficult not to get sucked in with those big, huge grooves and those thick with 3C riffs. You know what I mean? Like it's just impossible.
See if their PR company don't take thick with 3 C's
well
at the Metal Epidemic and have that fucking on everything from now on. I'm going to be disappointed because we've never used that before.
We need to speak to our friend.
All right. Well, we'll say no more. I'll make its way through.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I'd probably go 4 out of 5 on this one. Enjoyable album. Duncan?
I will, like, a slight contention with something you said, even though you didn't mean it in the way that I've accepted it, because I know what you're like, but I will quantify it. I think this genre of metal at times benefits from not being, like something that you haven't heard before, but rather doubling down and being really good at what you expect. And I think this band do that in spades. I'm very excited for them, especially now that I know that they're not another American hardcore band, because we have enough of them, America, right? Just fucking put a pin in it. The fact that they're in our particular bubble makes me very excited, and I think they've done a phenomenal job on their debut album. This is one of these bands I'm excited to not only see live, but excited to see where they go, because they have all the accoutrements to be like one of the more important bands in that genre for this side of the world. And I say not America. 4, yeah. So 4 is the perfect grade for this one. Yeah. It fucks, Dave. Who would have thought?
It's true. Kyle?
Fucks with 3 C's.
Fuck. I just don't get how stupid noise like that can bring you to tears, Duncan.
It's one of those things that when you say it, you don't expect someone to then act it out immediately after. Don't know, like.
Yeah, 4 out of 5. It's great.
4 out of 5. Excellent. Nice. So this one comes out on November 12th on Blood Blast Distribution. If you want to check them out, I'll put links below to their Facebook and to their Bandcamp, so you can check out the album when it comes out. Let us know what you think. If you've heard any of the singles, once you've heard the album, drop some comments in below. That is the review. Thank you for checking it out. We'll be back with a new review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.